If you're one of those people who has said, how come an SUV doesn't have sliding doors? Well, I'm here to tell you, this SUV has sliding doors, or at least that's what the guy at the airport told me when he picked me up in this car. This is not an SUV, but it looks like one. This is the 2025 Kia Carnival. For 2025, the Kia Carnival is even boxier and more SUV-like, and it's filled with some really cool new features that are going to make you think this is the coolest minivan ever. Be sure to follow along on our social media channels, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you see a video pop up right here, click on it. We put it there. We just spent the full day in the Kia Carnival. We drove through the mountains, we drove in the city, we put on adaptive cruise with driver assist 2.0, hands-free. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll show you what the head-up display looks like. I'll show you what all the features inside look like. I'm going to measure for kids' car seats. I'm going to show you how you can turn 8-passenger seating into 7-passenger seating, what 40 cubic feet of storage space looks like, and I'm going to tell you what I think about the hybrid engine, which is new for 2025. For 2025, Kia actually added a second engine option, and that is the hybrid. So now buyers have a choice. There is a V6 that produces 287 horsepower, or there is a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid that produces 242 horsepower. But it has a lot of torque, so you have really good passing power for getting onto the highway or for passing a truck on a lonely country road. The hybrid carries about a $2,000 upcharge over the V6, and that means the pricing starts at about $36,000 and goes to about $52,000. At the $52,000 level, you get not only the hybrid, but you get a digital rear view mirror, you get head-up display, and you get those premium lounge chairs that have relaxation mode in the center row. The Kia Carnival has the amber daytime running lights that are iconic for Kia's most recent design. And then notice the stacked headlights. They're sort of ice cube style headlights that stack along the side. You might notice that looks sort of like the Kia Telluride. And then the grille on the front has that almost watch-like mesh shape to it. Below there is an air intake. Along the side, you'll see that the Carnival that we're driving has some black details, including the side mirrors, and the wheels have that really beautiful black geometric design to them. And then we also have roof rails that are a gloss black, and there's even a textured panel behind the passenger door that has a little diamond pattern to it. The design of the rear end starts with this spoiler that extends out over the rear window, and it actually hides the windshield wiper, which tucks up underneath it. And then you'll see the rear tail lights that form a sort of light bar across the rear of the tailgate and connect those tail lights. You'll see the Kia badge there in the middle, and then moved a little bit lower on the lift gate is the license plate, and over on the left side, the Carnival name. On the right side, you'll see the HEV badge that indicates that this is a hybrid electric vehicle. So I've been behind the wheel of the Kia Carnival all day or part of the day, and it's pretty good. It doesn't feel like a huge SUV or a minivan. You kind of forget, oh, that's back there, which is nice. But it's also easy to drive. I really like the hybrid. It's quiet. You can hear that little whirring noise when it backs up, and it has been fun and easy to drive all day long. Nice on the mountain roads. I'm going to say this is not a sports car, even though there is sport mode. There are dual paddle shifter functions. If you're in sport mode, the paddle shifters act like paddle shifters, so you could actually use it for downhill braking, engine braking, rather than riding the brakes if you're going down a steep grade, especially if you're towing something. And you have up to 2,500 pounds of tow capacity in the hybrid, which we're driving, 3,500 in the V6. So if you're towing something, you have a trailer, and you want that downhill brake assist, you can do that using the paddle shifters. When you're in eco mode, though, if you pull that left paddle, that's going to set your regenerative brake mode, and you can set it to 1, 2, or 3. And actually, I just set it to 3. I just pulled the paddle and set it to the highest level of regen braking, and I could instantly feel the car slow. Now, this is not one pedal driving like you get in an EV, because this is a hybrid, but it will charge that battery, which is going to help you with fuel economy. if you really don't want that, and maybe if you've got babies sleeping in their car seats and you really don't want that sort of slightly jerky feeling when you lift your foot off the accelerator, then just leave it in normal. But if you really want to get the most you can out of your fuel economy, then pull that left paddle back 3 times. You'll see a little blue level notification here on the driver display, and that'll tell you if you're in regenerative 1, 2, or 3, 3 being the most forceful. And Kia actually had a nice term, and that is setting the level of deceleration. So faster deceleration is level 3, slower deceleration actually would be level 0. So you'd have less deceleration when you take your foot off the accelerator. So I like the way that they explained that. The interior of the Kia Carnival will make you feel spoiled. Ours is finished in gray and navy leather. Yes, this is leather. It's really beautiful. It's perforated. It's contrast stitched. The front seats are heated and cooled. It has this really nice headrest, nice cushy feel to it. It all feels really premium. You'll also see what Kia did, which I really love this. The surfaces that you'll touch are this light gray leather. The surfaces that you won't touch so much are the darker color. And what that means is with the dark carpets, the dark lower panels, the dark dashboard, not everything is going to be that overwhelming light colored upholstery, but you'll still get the benefit of a really light, bright interior. There's this brand new multimedia screen here, panoramic screen here, multimedia on this side, driver display on this side. The center console with this elegant gear selector, dial gear selector here, a nice little space here, a nice armrest with storage underneath, and then of course cup holders here on the back of this armrest for second row passengers. And then there's this. That's all you hear when you start this up because it is a hybrid. So it starts silently, it rolls away silently, and it gives you 33 mpg. That is the benefit of driving the hybrid version of the Kia Carnival. In the front seat of the Kia Carnival, you have a lot of great features. Some of them are new for 2025. Others are carried over from the 2022 model when they introduced the Kia Carnival. Either way, there's a lot to show you. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this new screen. So this is brand new, and it actually carries new technology here, and it is subject to over-the-air updates. That means Kia can push through an update and you'll have new function and new features here that you didn't have the day before, which is a really nice thing. There also is a 12-inch driver display here, so the screen is sort of cut in half. We've got a 12-inch multimedia here and a 12-inch driver display here. And then the newest thing that it has, which we love, and we haven't seen this in Kia yet, and that is this. Hey Kia, voice activated assistance. So all I have to do is say, hey Kia, and this little green bubble shows up, and you can even see it is understanding and interpreting everything that I say, waiting for me to give it a command. Hey Kia, navigate to the closest Starbucks.
Please say the line number of the location you want to go to.
Not only will it give me this navigation, but it will also show me the navigation in the head-up display, which I can see from this little box here on the dash, and I see all of the turn-by-turn directions as well as speed limit, the speed that I'm going, and other information right there in the head-up display. That's a really premium feature for a family minivan, but there is a lot more in this screen. So let me show you what else we have here. So here you have your main settings. If I plug in my phone, I'll have Apple CarPlay, I have the radio, and then I have my hybrid settings here so I can see what my energy usage looks like, and that's really nice. If you have a hybrid, that's a good thing to have. But check this out. I also have a phone projection, to connect my phone, projection phone. I can set a voice memo. Here's weather, setup. A lot of the features that you'll want are under setup. In fact, voice recognition, that Hey Kia, which is probably going to pop up and show me that, I can actually deactivate that. If I don't want my kids in the third row saying, hey Kia, all the time, I can turn that off. This is probably how it will actually come from the dealer as well. So if you get into your car and you're saying, hey Kia, and it's not working, go to voice recognition and tap
Let
this
me show
on.
you how to use wake up
And it
word.
will even show you how to use it, but really once you've turned it on, all you have to do is say the name, and it will work. And you can actually change the sensitivity of that as well. I will give you a little hint. The way that you can turn up or down the sound is by using your volume setting here on the steering wheel while the system is talking to you, or you can use the volume dial here, and I'm going to show you this whole component in just a minute, but that's the volume dial there. Let's go back to our screen. So if you want to set up navigation, you can set up some of your details here. If you want to set up your sound settings, you can do that there. Here is a display. You can set up some of the details on your display, including your camera settings. So a lot of really good features here that allow you to really customize this experience. But I want to show you this. This is our passenger view. Jim, say hello to the camera. So this camera is in the ceiling, and it shows you these 3 seats here and the 3 seats in the 3rd row. Now, if you have children in forward-facing car seats, you can easily see them. You can see if someone is sleeping. If they're in rear-facing car seats and you put a mirror there, you'll be able to see them there as well. So that's a really nice detail and nice thoughtful thing that Kia included in the Kia Carnival. But let's talk about the driver display. So we have this brand new 12-inch driver display here. It's got a lot of new technology, including here is my battery charge. You'll see here it says EV, and that is the battery charge. So we've been running the air conditioning a lot, and it's running the battery down. And what that means is I'm not going to get as much battery boost as I might if my battery were full. But I want you to notice this. We have driven quite a lot today. We're in the car all day, and we used almost no gas. And it's a very efficient 33 mpg system. You can also see your driver assist systems at work here. This is the speed limit. So if there's a speed limit, if we're in a speed zone, it will show you here what the speed limit is. And then you can also customize what you see here by tapping this button here, and you can see if I have navigation. Hey Kia, navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
Please say the line number of the location you want to go to.
Number 1, please. So now it's going to give me guidance here. It's going to give me turn-by-turn directions here. And if I'm in a model with head-up display, I'll see it also in my head-up display. That is really nice, so that if somebody is playing with this system here to set the radio station or do something else, I don't have to worry about that. I have my turn-by-turn directions right here in my driver display, and if I have a head-up display, it's right there too. Another premium feature that's in this car, and this is part of the SX Prestige, is this. This is a digital rear view mirror. So I have a video camera that shows me everything going on behind the car, and it allows me to do this. I can actually customize this screen by this allows me to move my view up or down if I want to see, I don't know, more sky or more pavement. And then I can also change the brightness, and I love that. It's just a nice little detail. If I don't want that, I just flip that tab and it goes back to a reflective mirror. And you'll see here these little houses here. This is so I can set it for my garage remote. That's home link, and it allows me to set it for my garage remote. Up here is a panel that we're used to seeing. These are our dome lights here, and then our buttons to open either door, the sliding doors, and we have the lift gate there, and then the front and the rear sunroof. So I want to open the front or the rear sunroof, I can open those right there. This panel is something that Kia introduced a couple of years ago on the Sportage, is where we first saw it, and now we see it in most of their cars. And it's a dual use panel. So here we have our quick access buttons to home or map, or search for a map destination, seeking for radio. There's our media. This is what we can use to quickly get to our setup menu. And there's a star button so we can actually set our favorites and get to whatever our favorites are really quickly. And then you'll see, and this is the volume, and then this is to change the radio station. But this also doubles as a climate panel. So all I have to do is tap that fan, and now I have my climate settings, and that volume button becomes the temperature dial. So either passenger can change the temperature here or change the temperature there. And then this also gives us the ability to change or set the rear temperature. So I can set the fan, I can set the temperature here, and I can tap it back and forth between front and rear there. So that's a really nice feature. I really like that. Or you can just say, hey Kia, set the cabin temperature to 72 degrees.
Setting the temperature to 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
And then the system does it for you automatically. Down here is a power panel for charging your phones. And notice that there is a toggle here that allows you to use this USB-C port for either data or purely charging. And then this one is purely charging. And then this signifies that my phone is in the wireless charge pad. And if you have something that you want to plug into the 12 volt, well, that's right there. There is a nice cubby here that's big enough for a phone. There's actually room for two phones. One side charges, the right side charges, the left side does not. There are larger cup holders here. The gear selector is here, and I want you to notice how beautiful this is. It is actually textured, it's glass topped, and it looks very much like the one that we see in the Genesis. That is a very elegant detail for the Kia Carnival. And then we have our drive mode and auto hold. So drive mode, I'm going to put this in drive, we're in drive, and I'm going to tap the drive mode button, and I will see my drive modes pop up here on the driver display. So I can toggle between Eco, Sport, and Smart, which is going to give me the best use of my electric power. And I just keep tapping it, and it will just toggle through all of those. If you put it in Sport, the paddle shifters actually act as paddle shifters. If you put it in Eco or Smart, this paddle shifter actually will act as a regenerative brake setting. So you can pull this and you see it says LV3. That's because it's at level 3, and that is the most emphatic deceleration. It's the most deceleration, meaning it will really decelerate the car quickly and scoot all that energy back into the battery to preserve it for use later. That's what's going to give you the best fuel economy. If you don't want that, you don't want that setting, then you can just pull the right paddle and turn it off. It also turns off when you turn off the car. If you want that on, you do have to turn that on every time you get in and out of the car. Then over here, I want to show you this. This is the auto hold. This allows the brake to hold after you've come to a stop. You've pressed the brake to the floor, and the auto hold will come on, and it will hold you in place while you just sit with your feet on the floor. You don't have to keep your feet on the brake. I really love that feature. And then down here, we have heated and vented seats. So those are my heated seats. These are my vented seats, and I can turn them off like that. Heated steering wheel, parking sensor, parking camera, and then heated and vented seats for the passenger. And of course, even though as much as this looks like an SUV, it is not. It's a minivan, and it has these very beautiful sliding doors. This makes it easy for passengers to get into the center row, to get into the third row, and it keeps them from dinging the cars on either side. In the rear seats, the center row and the third row, the Kia Carnival gives you a lot of choices. So let's talk about each row, passenger amenities, and how you can really configure these seats to best fit your family and your style. So first of all, let's talk about where these seats are. So this seat is pushed as far back as it's going to go. This seat goes a lot further back. If you need to put a child passenger car seat rear facing in the center seat, you can absolutely do that. You have all the space in the world. You could actually put a whole lay flat rear facing baby car seat in the center seat. I'm going to measure for car seats and show you what that looks like. Then there are 5 full sets of lower anchors. So there's 3 here in the center row, there's 2 in the third row. In fact, only the center seat in the third row is the only one that doesn't have the full set of latches, the lower anchor and the upper tether, but there is a tether on the rear of that. And then there are also 6 headrests, so every seat gets a headrest, very important as well. So how do these seats fit child passenger car seats? Well, first of all, you have a lot of space for moving these seats forward and back. The tracks go really far forward, and then this seat, the center seat, goes really far back. So I'm going to push this. This is as far back as this seat goes. And let's take a measure, seat back to seat back. Let's see how much space we have. And we have about 33.5 inches seat back to seat back, so shoulder to shoulder. About 33.5 inches, way more space than you need for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. And then this seat, of course, because this is pretty wide open, where I have this seat positioned, 37, 38 inches, you have all the space in the world. Let's talk about how wide this seat is. 14 inches side to side, and then between these seatbelt receptacles, we have 15 inches, 14 inches. So you have a lot of space here. This is a perfect place to put a rear-facing child passenger car seat. What else do we have here in the second row for second row passengers? Well, there's some really good amenities. First of all, you can get a seatback entertainment system if you would like. The nice thing about the seatback entertainment system is if you buy this, it gets over-the-air updates, which means you can turn it on one day and it has YouTube. You can turn it on another day and it has Amazon Prime. You can turn it on another day and it has other features. So Kia will update that if you purchase that system. What else do you get? Well, we have some nice cup holders here. There's a household outlet right there. There's a 12 volt. There's a little storage space right there. We do have USB ports built into these seats here. And then we have these buttons here on this front passenger seat. So rear passengers can move the seat if they need to. There's a little bag hook right here. So if you need some place to put a trash bag or maybe to hang a tote bag with treats or toys or coloring books, you can put that there. There is a camera here in the roof, and that is a fam cam. So you can actually turn on this camera and you can see passengers in the back, and then there's also a push to speak button right there. We have dome lights here in the ceiling for center row passengers. There are dome lights in the third row. And there is a climate control panel here in the ceiling as well. So passengers who can reach that can set their own climate control, which you can also do from the front. There is a sunroof that's over the second and third row. And in the second row, there's a control. So second or third row passengers can open that sunroof if they want to, and they can close it. Another thing that I really love are these oversized sunshades here on the center door windows. But we also have sunshades for the third row. So let's talk about how we get into the third row. This is a bench seat, and if you have kids' car seats all the way across, can you get into the third row? I think you can. Let me show you how. To access the third row, you have a couple of choices. If you don't need this seat, this actually comes out. I'm going to show you how that works. And then you'll have a really nice pass-through to get into the third row. But if you need the seat here, and a lot of people do, then you can do this. You just pull this tab on the side of the seat, and the seat slides and tilts forward. This will work with a forward-facing child passenger car seat installed, or one of the rotating car seats if you need a rear-facing seat. And then to climb into the third row, it's super easy. You have quite a lot of space. And then the passenger sitting here can push this seat back. These seats are pretty far back, and I still have, as far back as the center row seat is, I still have a lot of leg room. I could sit here very comfortably. I'm actually pretty shocked. So let's talk about this seat. This seat removes, but it also does something else. And let me see if I can do it from here. I can. It also folds flat, so giving you a really nice storage area here and cup holders here. So if your center row passengers or your rear seat passengers need a place to put a cup or lay something, maybe you hold a tablet or someplace to put your phone, you have this nice space here that's really just in the seat back. And if you want to get rid of this seat, then all you have to do is pull this, and I can hear it. It's really hard to do, so you're not going to want to do it on the fly, but there you go. This actually completely pulls out of the car, so you can take the seat fully out and toss it in the garage. Then you have center row captain's chairs. This is only one of 3 cars that do that. Passengers in the 3rd row are going to find quite a lot of amenities. So first of all, we have sunshades for passengers in the 3rd row. There are cup holders, there is a USB port, there are air vents in the ceiling, and there are dome lights right here. And there's a lot of leg room. This seat is set pretty far forward. It's about in the middle of between the front and the 3rd row, and I have a ton of leg room. I have to say, I really like this. I also really love this beautiful light colored upholstery. This is something that Kia talked about. Families, especially modern families, don't want everything in black. They really appreciate having a lighter color interior, and I have to say, I love it too, because then you can see where something is spilled and is going to ruin your day, as opposed to finding it accidentally. There are tabs on the sides of these seats that allow you to both put the seat down or recline the seat, and it reclines quite a lot. So you could actually push this seat, you could push this seat all the way forward, or you can take it out and just turn this into the ultimate lounge. Check this out. Hey Kia, it's hot in here.
Setting the temperature to 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
The system knows where I am. It knows if I'm in the 3rd row, I'm in the center row, or I'm in the front row. And that's because of the speakers and the microphone setup. It can tell which seat the person is talking from and then address things to that seat, whether it's temperature or turning up the volume or changing the radio station. And then it can do other things like, I don't have it back here, but in the front seat, it will turn on my heated seat or my vented seat, which is a really nice detail. The SX Prestige model that we're driving is fully loaded, and it has everything that Kia has to offer, but even at some of the lower trims, you'll get a luxury like this one. I'm just standing here, and I have the key in my hand, and the lift gate opens automatically. That's a feature that families can really take advantage of, especially if you have a stroller, kids, groceries, a dog on the leash. You don't need to fumble around and look for your key. As long as it's in your pocket or your purse, the door will open automatically. I want to show you this. This is what 40 cubic feet of cargo space looks like. It is enormous. In fact, that is probably double or 50% larger to 100% larger than the average cargo space in an SUV. And that's the beauty of a minivan. I'll show you this too. These seats stow into the floor, and I'll pull them out, but I want you to look at this. Look at these rails and how far back these center seats can actually go. So if you have these seats down and you want to create a huge space in the middle, you have the opportunity to do that. In fact, you can even fully remove these center row seats, or you can just take the one in the middle out and create captain's chairs. It's a really nicely configurable cabin. This middle seat in the center row is kind of crazy, so I have it pushed really far forward. If you wanted this seat pushed all the way forward, you could do that, or you can also push it really far back. How crazy is that? So it's really easy. All you do is pull that handle and pull this tab, and then if you need to put the headrests up, they go up easily just like that. And then look at how much cargo space you have. You've got this nice deep cargo well and lots of linear space for stowing everything. Also new for 2025 is Kia's Driving Assist 2.0, which is hands-free driving. Now we've seen this in some other cars. We've seen this in Genesis, and we've seen it in some other of the Hyundai Kia vehicles, and it's finally come to the Kia Carnival. And I'm going to say it's pretty good. So what this is it's adaptive cruise and lane trace assist. So it takes all of those systems together, the sensors, the radar, and the cameras, and it will basically do the driving for you. It will also change lanes for you, which is really nice. And that is a very premium technology that you can have in the very family-friendly Kia Carnival. It's really too bad that minivans have gotten such a bad rap over the years and that people have had objections, but actually that's not a bad thing because that inspired Kia to do all the things that they did in the 2025 Kia Carnival, from more luxurious seating, a much nicer cabin, the hybrid engine option with more torque and decent horsepower, or the V6 option if that's what you want, and all of that great advanced technology and luxury features, all for under $52,000. That's pretty amazing, and that makes this minivan look all the better.